I think we are here for a training in mental health and stress management. We thank God for the journey masses so far, for the people who have reached here, and we also thank you for keeping time. I think we are in time according to our timetable. And also for sacrificing. Today is a Sunday, you should be in your homes, but you've sacrificed. And this is for our own good and for the good of our institution. We congratulate you wherever you are yesterday, having finished the Mother's Day. And we believe that our God is good and will make us victorious. Of course, in yesterday's team, we apologized because sometimes other time where we can all be here, have this training without jeopardizing the work of the institution. So apologies from management and board, but we know at the end of the day the feedback according to, I know, be expectant. Our facilitator Daniel, the other names I cannot mention them, I only got Daniel. I know, be expectant. At the end of the day, the feedback from yesterday was great. Yes, members coming, we have already started. The feedback was great, and this is for our own good, for our own workplace, family, for our own good generally. So also be expectant, and I wouldn't want people to sit behind. If you can come in front, because these seats are all ours. At one time, you'll also be trainers, and you see people trying to sit behind. Be confident of yourselves and sit in front. How it came about is it is through the staff appraisal, assessment and appraisal that we usually do mid-June and then end of year. So we usually see the feedback, what other trainings, and it has been coming since 2021 and 2022. That is the reason why we organized this training, because it was most from the feedback that stress management at workplace, stress management, you read here, stress management. So we thought we would handle this in the training. So we're privileged to have Daniel from Voice of Restoration. I know he'll take us through, and by the end of the day, he will not remain the same. How people came yesterday, they were low because they had the other instinct of Mother's Day. But I can tell you that before we ended the training, everyone was happy, there was no stress, and I believe we shall be good to go for the rest of the year. Thank you so much. I now take the opportunity to open this training workshop officially, and then invite our trainer Daniel to take us through. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, participants. Hope you had a good night and you had a good Mother's Day celebrations. Daniel is my English name, and Tleba Tratipi is my Lubara name. And I normally brag that if you have never been to Arua, then you have never been to Uganda. So Arua is where I'm born from, it's where I was raised, and it's where right now I chose to go back after having served at different capacities in different regions. Since I developed gray beards, I thought, hey, I need to go back home so that I can still be a useful citizen in my young old age in my community. About Daniel, originally, I began as a secondary teacher, and after having taught for 7 years, I retired. And I went into speaking, I went into counseling, I went into mental health, and I do all those, and I've also been able to help people. If you are here and you want to write books, then you have your big brother who will guide you through. Because personally, I'm also an author myself, so far 6 books. Some copies are here, some you can also check it on Amazon as well. I'm a family man, very married. I'll tell you the story later on, to one beautiful girl called Eva Mungin Tuleba. Those are my books, which are here. To give you a brief highlight, Broke by Choice is a story. All these are my stories, by the way, is my story where I've been broke and broken. To go home without any money, and you're a married man with the beards, and you have children who expect their father to come with a kavera, but for you, at every end of month, 100% of your salary is taken to cover loans. Which loans you get and you invest in the wrong investments and you lose the investment. At the same time, you lose the salary for 3.5 years. So I've been broke and I've been broken. When I talk about the book of the art of dating and courtship, of course you need to know that I am a married man, but after 80 heartbreaks. Yes. And the 80 heartbreaks are without those who fired me before I proposed to them, and those also who told me they would give me feedback, and up to tomorrow feedback has not come. And then you are fired. That's what I'm talking about. And born through rejection, lived through rejection, so I understand. But sometimes I think it's not because of style. No, sometimes, actually I've discovered it is because of mental problems that we're going to discuss and look at. And I was awarded this last year from Sheraton, and I was glad. That's my beautiful chick, as you can see her there. That's my wife. I was with her. I began a movement. I began an organization called the Voice of Restoration. We are based in Arua, West Nile. And in our programs, we do mental health advocacy, we do holistic counseling and guidance, we do crisis and trauma healing and management, we do training and capacity building programs, we do positive parenting skills. And when I shared with them, they said, yeah, they can come and train our team. So all our team members are certified by Bank of Uganda as financial literacy trainers. So we do those trainings in West Nile and even other regions as well. Unmasking mental health is our first topic this morning. I'm sure you have your programs. And we want to discuss this. And this we will try our best to be able to break the stigma and give us every necessary information on mental health, so that you and me will be able to understand. You and me will be able to know exactly what it is, and we will be able to work together. And what we are going to do this morning, we are going to dialogue, we are going to discuss. So I have another mic that will be going around, so that I will ask you a question, you give me an answer. You also ask me a question, and I give you an answer. Is that good? Good. Let's break down these words. You know, I'm a debater, so I love debate right from primary. No, normally when there's a topic like this, we must break down the keywords. Right? So let's break down the keywords. What does it mean to unmask? What does it mean to unmask?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Ezra.
Yes.
To me, I think unmasking is like unveiling, or something is hidden and you want to bring it up.
Clap for him. You know, that's I should keep coming to Sacco. Why? All the stuff are white. It is like something has been hidden, and you need to know exactly what is inside. Then you have to unmask, right? Now I have something here. What do you think could be inside here? Pancake? Yes. Biscuits? Yes. Meat? Yes. What do you think is inside here, because we're going to unmask it? A stone? Yes. What else? Grasshoppers, because it's the season. What else? Cake. Now you see, all those answers are good answers. Yes? And we are speaking these answers based on our imagination, right? Because all of us is imagining what could be inside here. And we imagine based on what we think. That's why when we talk about unmasking mental health, I strongly believe that each one of us will have a different opinion of what we think mental health could be. I remember a time when I did a training for religious leaders in West Nile, and then when they came like the way you've come, one person asked me, said, "Sir, so where are the mad people?" I said, "Who?" Said, "The mad people you have called us to come and train on." I said, "No, we are coming to do a training on mental health, to understand mental health, not to deal with the mad people." Because this religious leader was telling me, actually when he saw the letter of coming to do a training on mental health, he thought we were going to teach him how to deal with the mad people. That was how he thought. That's how he saw what mental health is. So I want to unpack this and we find out what could really be inside. Good idea? We are unmasking. Oh, okay. We continue. It is still sealed. We continue. Hey, it is actually an egg. We have an egg which was wrapped, and some people thought it was a pancake, others thought it was biscuits, others thought it was a stone, but actually it is what? An egg. So equally, we want to unmask and understand what mental health is. Now that we have understood the word unmasking.
Members, there are seats here.
Yeah, you can come in front. Now that we are through with unmasking, now we want to understand mental health. When you hear the word mental health, what comes in your mind? What do you think could be mental health when we say mental health?
Sure.
Yes, please.
From a group branch. Now, may I think something which is mental is something that deals with the brain.
Something that deals with the
So
brain.
when we talk about mental health, we are looking at how the health of the brain is, whether it is in good condition or bad condition.
Good.
Thank you.
Another person?
When I hear of mental health, I think of well-being of the brain.
Well-being of the brain. Good. Another person?
Honey Chris Kwesig is my name. When I hear about mental health, I think of madness.
You think of madness?
Justin, when they talk about mental health, stress and depression come into my mind.
Okay, stress and depression come in mind when you say mental health. Stress and depression. Okay.
When I hear mental health, I think of someone who is not doing well mentally.
Someone who is not doing well mentally.
Who is not okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Of what we think could be in relation to mental health, right? And that's why we want to unmask this, so that we want to get exactly what it is. And this morning we are blessed because we're going to get that. Mental health, what is it? Mental health is the state of a mental well-being that enables people to realize their abilities, cope with the stresses of life, learn and work well, and contribute to the community. That's mental health. When we talk about mental health, we are looking at the well-being of a person. And this person is able to realize their abilities and their potential. This person is able to cope with their daily stressing issues. Because the stress has come, yes? There are stressors that come on a daily basis. At work you can be stressed. When whatever you go, like empty, and everywhere you go, you can be stressed. But then how do you cope with this? And then also someone who is able to realize, learn and work well and contribute to the community. So we also say that it is an integral component of health and well-being that underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions, build relationships, and shape the world we live in. It is crucial to personal, community, and socio-economic development. Now, talking about this, still using this egg as an example, if all factors are constant, what would you expect from this egg? If factors are all constant, what do you expect from this egg? No. Yes? When you buy the egg, what do you do with it? You eat it. That means it is a source of food which helps to nourish your body. I think that's why all of you are healthy, because you have been eating eggs, right? And the beautiful thing is this is a land that flows with milk and honey and has a blend of good eggs like this, you know. So that's why we're healthy. What else? Now I want to find out, under abnormal circumstances, because of pressure. Now, this egg has a damage. Now, with this damage, if this egg stays for 3 days, what do you expect from here? A very bad smell, a stinking smell that will contaminate the entire community, right? What else? Can we buy it at 500? Who can buy this kind of egg? Nobody will buy that. Can cope with the stress, is able to realize their potential, is able to realize their ability, is able to learn and work well, everything going well, and in your setting, meeting your targets, monthly targets and annual targets, yes, is doing your work. But then when there's a pressure from out, you don't expect that work, you don't expect that life, not so. That's why we want to discuss these issues, just to represent to you that why we talk about mental health is we try to create awareness so that we don't end with mental illness. That's so that we want you to maintain your good mental health. So that we try to help you so that pressure cannot hit this, so that we don't get what we are supposed to get if the pressure is not there. So this is something that we want to do so that we are able to deal with the pressure that could actually disturb this. In most cases, it is the environmental forces that damage this egg. Yes? And when the environmental forces damage this egg, then we don't expect life through the chick, we don't expect money, we don't expect to eat it because it will be unhealthy for the body. But when everything is fit, then nothing moves. So that everything will be well. That's why we want you to be able to maintain your good mental health the way it is, so that we don't end up with this kind of bad mental illness. Because when the mental illness comes, then the environment will become contaminated. We will see different things that we're going to look at as we move. Talking about mental health, I still want also to bring out myths and facts of mental health. Why? Because we have myths. There are people who have myths, information which is not right, which is true. And in some cases we believe such information, yet it is not true. That's why, as we are hearing, different people have different opinions about mental health. So we want to get out, we want to see which one is the correct information, which one is the wrong information. Myth number one, you only need to take care of your mental health if you have a mental health condition. That's a lie. Because the fact is, everyone can benefit from taking active steps to promote their well-being and improve their mental health. You can improve your mental health. So you don't need to wait for a mental health condition to begin to take care of your mental health. Clear? Myth number two, if a person has a mental health condition, it means the person has a low intelligence. It's a lie. I'm sure you've heard of these kind of statements from people. Mental illness, like physical illness, can affect anyone regardless of intelligence, social class, or income level. Mental illness can affect anybody. Can I surprise you? Today is a Sunday. How many are Christians like me? You have a Christian name like mine. Oh, a good number. Good. I can cite for you 3 women in the Bible. Help me cut that echo, please. I can cite for you 3 women in the Bible and 7 men in the Bible who suffered mental illness. Today is Sunday, so I can do it. The first woman to ever suffer this recorded in the Bible history is Hagar. You know Hagar? Hagar, that's called Hagar. Genesis, the maid who was with Abraham, you know the story? That is the first lady to have suffered mental illness. The second person in the Bible that I've so far found out is Hannah, the mother of Samuel. She suffered mental illness. The third person who suffered mental illness in the Bible, according to the women that I've so far read, is Naomi. Can I bring them in? Moses is one of those. Moses, the one who led the children of Israel out of Egypt. You have King David, a king. King David suffered mental illness. You have Job. Job suffered mental illness. You have Elijah, man of God. Man of God Elijah, who called fire. After calling the fire, he had a mental problem. You have Jeremiah, also a man of God. Mental illness came because of jealousy, by the way. Let me cite each of these people's why it came. Yeah. For Hagar, it was because of the rejection and abandonment. Last time before you became a full-time witch. Jonah, God, this was a man of God. God told him, go to preach. Let those people get born again. Jonah said, no, let those people die. They are evil. They are wicked. Let them die. God said, go and preach. So he went and preached. So when he preached, all of them got born again. He got angry. I told you, you just wanted to spare these people. But I know them. They are wicked people. You should have destroyed them. Out of that jealousy and envy, the man had the mental illness. Who is Elijah? Elijah still because of fear, worry, because the woman told him, Jezebel, by this time tomorrow, if I don't have your head, we will see. That word, the guy ran for his life. Another? Job, he lost everything. He lost his wealth, he lost his property, he lost his children. Loss. The man was just very, very, very bad. Another? Jeremiah. Jeremiah still because of rejection. Rejection. Wherever he was going, people were rejecting whatever he did. People didn't like him, and everything he said, people just opposed it. He went into depression. Who else? King David. King David because of the sickness of the child. Took somebody's wife and then killed a man. And then produced a child. And then when this child was sick, the man went into mental illness. Another. How? Okay, don't worry, I will show you. That's why when I was doing this mental health program, like I was telling you for the registrars, one man of God stood up and said, you are a blasphemer. I told him, sit down, let me show you, read your Bible well. First of all, if you are a Bible scholar, Isaiah prophesied that that man will suffer a lot of problems. Remember? If you read your Bible well, Isaiah 50, is that 53? Around there, if you read, saying, this man, oh, a man of sorrow, a man who's used for somebody must have gone through it. Yes? Actually, right now, when I'm talking about mental health, is because I've lived experience. So I will tell you how it feels. That's why I've just told you how bathing became a challenge for me. This morning I bathed, so don't still look at me like that. I showered cold water this day. I showered cold water in Barara, in one of the hotels. They told me, hot. I said, no, please, I will do hot. I will do cold. Why I do cold water every day is because when I was 3 years old, I got burnt with hot water. So from that day up to now, I bathe cold water. Once bitten, twice shy. Even when I was in the cabal, it was cold in the cabal. They gave me hot water. I refused. And I said, let me go with the cold. That day I regretted. They gave me a blanket, they gave me a bed cover, they gave me, they covered me. I put on my clothes, I put on a jacket, I put on a coat. I was still shivering. So, don't ask me whether I bathed again the following day. I want to bring out here, anybody, regardless of status, can have mental illness. That's why men of God go through this. A king went through this. Jesus himself went through this. And people go through this at different levels. And I'm sure, sorry?
I think there was a question,
how Jesus went through that? Because of the assignment he had, which appeared too big for him now. That's why he even said, if it is impossible, let this cup pass. Because of the myth. Poor mental health is not a big issue for teenagers. They just have mood swings caused by hormonal fluctuations and act out due to a desire for attention. It's a lie. Teenagers often have mood swings, yes, but that does not mean that adolescents may not also struggle with mental health. Another myth here, nothing can be done to protect people from developing mental health conditions. That's a lie. That's why we are here. Why are we here? We are here to try to protect. What does that mean? Many factors can protect people from developing mental health conditions, including strengthening social and emotional skills. That's why we are going to be talking about managing stress, coping mechanisms, skills, coping skills, yes. We are talking about seeking help and support early on. So that when you begin early, then things will be well. So that you're able to manage things when they're still early. Developing supportive, loving, warm family relationships. We will also discuss this detail, but that's one of the ways. Whether you're strong, whether you're weak, anybody can go through this, like I was saying. It's not about your willpower, it's not that you are weak, it's not that you're strong, everybody can go through this. And one day I was talking to one community which was a church community. I was saying that some people have it weird that when you have a mental health condition, they will say, maybe you're not praying enough. If it was about praying enough, Jesus prayed enough. Every day you read your Bible, he was ever in prayer mountains, praying. How did he end up with mental illness if it was about not praying enough? Adolescents who get good grades and have a lot of friends will not have mental health conditions because they have nothing to be depressed about. That's a lie. That's why even people with good grades, people who have a lot of money, who have a lot of cash around them, they have mental health conditions. Not so? So it's not about whether you have good or bad grades. It's not about whether you want. Anybody can go through this at any moment, under different circumstances. Another myth, only bad parenting causes mental condition in adolescents. It's a lie. Whether parenting is good or bad, mental illness can still strike. So what is mental illness? Mental illness is a health problem that affects people's thoughts, mood, and behavior. Three things. Mental illness is a mental health condition that affects people's thoughts, people's moods, and the behavior. That's why when we quickly notice people with mental illness or mental health problems on those three accounts. The way they think, the way they act, that's not their behavior, and their mood. Have you seen people who are just moody and you wake up and they're like, then you know they're not well mentally. Yes? So those three aspects And I'm sure one moment you've also seen yourself, you've also caught yourself in a bad mood, looking so. Me, I stopped looking fun because one day I saw myself in the mirror when I was angry. It was not scary for me even. And with the black face I have, I gave up. Mental illness causes distress and may affect the person's ability to function at work, in a relationship, or in everyday tasks. Now, if you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like going to work, you need to check yourself again. Something is actually building up. If something is beginning to affect your routine work, if something is beginning to affect the way you feel and you think and act, check. How is your relationship? How are you in your relationship? Your everyday task, are you doing your tasks normally? Or sometimes you don't feel like. Mental illness can range from mild disorders lasting only a few weeks through to severe illnesses that can be lifelong and cause serious disability. You can actually develop a mental illness for a few weeks, and if the support system is good, you actually can recover from it without medications. Yes? But then if it does not take that route, and if somebody is actually struggling but it's not diagnosed early, that can continue building up, then it becomes severe. By the time we realize, it becomes a lifelong disability for them. Over 14 million people suffer from mental illness in Uganda. In fact, last year when we had the mental health conference last year, the people who had this research came and said they established this number based on assumptions, but actually the numbers were higher than this. That day I was in attendance, and the person responsible for mental health in Parliament actually came up and said most parliamentarians are mentally ill. I'm sure you saw it on papers. Yes. And then from there, Parliament began refuting it, but we are seeing the signs and symptoms. There are many different types of mental illness. Some of the main groups, we have just now grouped them. We have the mood disorders. The mood disorder is where we have the depression and bipolar. Now, depression is a form of sadness that does not go away for weeks, and it begins to interfere with your day-to-day work. So that you don't function the way you should. You don't do things the way you should, but you're ever stressed, you're ever moody, you're ever sad. And this sadness does not go away for a season. Now with the bipolar is where someone has the two extremes. They can be sad at some moment, and then also at the same time they can be very excited at the same time. So their moods keep swinging based on how the environment is and based on what is available around them. At some point they are happy, all of a sudden they are angry again. And when they look at you, you wonder what they are thinking. And then all of a sudden they are smiling again. That is the bipolar. And it is just because of the moods. And talking about this, good enough we came, you told me that everybody with the New King James Bible, because today is Sunday and we're doing this on a Sunday, I like this. If you have New King James Bible, English, Proverbs chapter 12, verse 25. Proverbs 12:25 Bible says, anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. Meaning that when somebody has there is a pressure that is hitting them, and therefore they're always sad. They don't even remember when they last smiled. They don't even have any reason to smile anyway. So we have also anxiety disorders. We have personality disorders. With the personality disorders, there are people whose personality will quickly make them, not even help them, but will quickly make them enter into mental illness. That is the perfectionist group. The whites call it the melancholic. In terms of personality, it's the melancholic. A melancholic person is somebody who is ever smart, ever neat. When you enter their room, you're like, wow. And don't make a mistake to enter their room with the shoes. They have put they have where you put your shoes. They have where you put the socks. They have where you put the, don't mix anything. They are very neat and organized, very detailed. And anything, any slight thing disorganizes them. Any slight thing disappoints them. They are very organized, very. If you tell them that we are meeting at 8 and you come at 8:30, they're disappointed in you. Those are people who keep time. And they don't want, you don't, and if you are to tell them that we are having a program, you don't just come and ambush them. They won't show up. You prepare them, tell them, I have a program, I want you to be part. And they put it on paper. Those are people who always have their notebooks. Every detail they write, they have plan. Right now, today is the 4th of June, but they're right now planning Christmas. They are planning ahead, they think ahead. And they have their expectations. So when they don't meet their expectations, they are offended. So because of that personal phone, and they first read the manual before using the phone. They don't want to make mistakes. They read manuals, they don't want mistakes. So that personality is prone to mental illness. That's why it is healthy for them to marry someone who is of their opposite personality. Someone who can cheer them up. Then we have the psychotic disorders. Psychosis is where you live in an unreal world. You live in imaginations. Right now you may be broke, but you are making a budget of millions of shillings, but don't even have the money. You talk big, but on action there is nothing. Psychosis at work. Eating disorder. There are people who can finish 5 plates of food and they are still asking for more food. They have eating disorder. And those who don't even eat at all with disorders. That's why we have the post-traumatic stress disorder. If someone has gone through some traumatic experience in childhood and then they didn't get help, they have this. When they grow up, things will backfire. For example, there are women who hate men with a passion. Yes? Why? Because maybe a man causes some. As a result, they hate men with a passion, and because of that, they still hold onto that grudge. So they don't like men. Even when a man comes, sees the man and is wondering, what if he does the same like that other person? So they don't trust again. And because of that, some things can still keep piling. That's why if you check your behavior, especially with anger, track it back. It could be because of your early childhood development times. You could be angry, that anger started right then. And you've not never been able to deal with it. It keeps happening. Substance abuse disorders, I talked about the drugs already. So all those are substance. You remember? Because there was no fruit, only leaves, and he was hungry. When you are broke, even he was very broke. And even at some point, they were coming to arrest him because he was avoiding taxes. You remember? And then he told Peter, please, go to the water and fish. Let's get some coin in that fish, and then we clear one. Go and clear your tax and also mine. You remember that story in the Bible? Even he was broke. He didn't have a means of transport, so he was always borrowing people's boats. Of course, those were his friends. But we also borrow our friends' cars to move around. Even the bicycles. You know. So he understands our issues, that's why he went through them as a person, first of all. Now, talking about causes of mental illness. There are so many causes. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. There are some situations where you meet maybe a person on the way. He's talking. Idea is it's like somewhere talking alone. He has nobody to talk to. But when you critically analyze that person, it's as if he's talking alone. So could it be one of the forms of mental illness, or if so, where does it fall among these categories? Just given us. Thank you.
Good. Things when it comes to mental illness: the thought, the mood, and behavior. Now, that's the mental illness. That's why when you see people are having their board meetings chaired by them and the members and the chairperson and everything is about them. Even I'm sure you have ever spoken to yourself, right? At some point. Give them the support they need to help them recover. Causes, we have the genetical factors. Matters we're going to catch mental illness like flu. How you're with your friend and you catch flu from your friend. Mental illness doesn't operate like that. However, there are some genetical traces. That's why if you check some families, you will hear that their uncle or their father had this condition, then that condition continues in the family. Somehow there's that trace. Drug and substance abuse, many of our people, especially West Nile, as a result of drugs and substance abuse. Yes? And I'm sure that you know some of your friends who are now mentally ill because of drugs. Other biological factors, medical conditions or hormonal changes, they're also there. Then early life environment. That's what I talked about. The negative childhood experiences, such as abuse, neglect, can increase the risk of some mental illnesses. If you are here and your childhood was bad, I mean bad, there was neglect, there was abuse in all forms, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, spiritual abuse, all kinds of abuse. If you've been through that from your childhood, that can actually keep piling up. One day it will explode. It will explode if you're not helped to deal with it. We have trauma and stress, because these are serious issues. Trauma and stress. In adulthood, traumatic life events or ongoing stress such as social isolation, domestic violence, relationship breakdown, financial or work problems can increase the risk of mental illness. That's why the staff are here and we are unmasking mental health and stress management, right? Why? We are trying our best to help you navigate through life challenges so that you don't end up with mental challenges. And then we have the personality factors like I talked about. Some traits such as perfectionism or low self-esteem can increase the risk of depression or anxiety. So those are some of the causes. But there are more other issues. Now talking about depression issues here, a lot happens. Don't. Let me just ask these questions and see if it works for you. Right now, as it is, how is your appetite? Do you have appetite or you have lost appetite? If you check yourself, have you put on weight or you have lost some weight? Right now, do you struggle to sleep no matter how tired you are? Or do you wake up in the middle of the night and lie awake for hours, anxiously watching the clock, or are you oversleeping? Currently, do you have some anger that you don't even understand, and something slightly irritates you? You are always angry, but you don't understand your anger. You don't even understand the cause of that emotion. Do you get fatigued? You are just tired, even when you've not done any serious work, but you just feel tired. I say, don't say anything. Keep it, because I'm hearing something. So just keep yourself. Are there moments where you lose interest in doing your daily work? Are there times where you withdraw, avoiding people and activities you used to enjoy?
You turn down invitations to spend time with others, maybe for lunch or for dinner or for functions or parties. You try your best to avoid people, so that from work you go home, from home you come back to work. Do you sometimes find yourself in a situation where you just act recklessly? You engage in reckless behaviors, such as substance abuse, reckless driving, dangerous sports, gambling, and all of that? Are there times when you lack some basic personal hygiene? Where sometimes going to the bathroom is also a struggle, like the way it was for me. Brushing, doing your clothes, putting on available clothes. Sometimes even you don't care whether you have ironed or not, you just show up. Could that be you? Do you fail to focus and concentrate on your work? And remembering your targets, and remembering your appointments, remembering your program that you have put? Do you have unexplained aches and pains, and you go to the hospital for checkup and they check you in the hospital but they don't find any sickness, but you know you are doing badly? You have an increase in physical complaints such as headache, and sometimes even this headache is in style. One side is aching you but one side is fine. Are there times you have found yourself in speaking but you have uncoordinated speech? You are speaking but uncoordinated things? Are there moments when you feel like this world will just do without you? Where you just want to end your life? If any of those makes sense with what you have been living, then we need help. This mental illness can attract stigma and discrimination, which can be the biggest problem for a person with these disorders. That is why people with mental illness die in silence by suicide. Even when there is a help which is available, people don't. Why? They fear. Even right now, I'm sure what I've mentioned here, some of you could actually be expressed in it right now. Where instead of sleeping, can't sleep, but then you try to take sleeping pills. Some of you could be self-medicating yourself so that people don't see what you're going through, but deep inside you know the kind of person you're going through, but there's a fear. How do other people see me going for this? But help is always available, friends. Symptoms of mental illness. Let me give now overall. Unusual or illogical thoughts, unreasonable anger that we talked about, poor concentration and memory, hearing voices that others cannot hear. You hear instructions, but others are not hearing anything. Increase or decrease sleep. Increase or low appetite, lack of motivation, withdrawing from people, drug use, feeling life is not worth living, not looking after personal hygiene or other responsibilities, not performing well at work or at school. In our case, at work. You know how you have been performing. Help is available. Help is available. A good first step is to talk to people you trust. Problem is nowadays we don't trust people. You say don't trust people, but you still have to get a place where you trust people, such as your partner. Good enough, I see so many rings in this house, people with the rings in their fingers, that means they are married, and there are those who are not having the rings, but still from the looks on their faces, they look to be married. And maybe there are those who once upon a time were, and now they are on leave, but they are coming back, they are bouncing back big. They are just soon, rejuvenating themselves to come back. You can talk to a friend. All of us, we are friends. Yes? You have a colleague, you have your leaders, you have your bosses. Talk to somebody. Talk. Talk therapy is the ideal, friends. Talk that issue out. You can also seek professional support. For example, psychologist or a counselor. These health professionals are all trained to help people going through mental health difficulties. Help is available. Don't feel shy. The problem is for us men, we are told that you be a man and do the pain like a man, don't talk like women. That's why I chose to break that stigma, I chose to break the silence. I think I'm among the few men who have been open about their conditions and their struggles in life. But you too, you can. And that will help you to maintain a good mental health so that we don't end up with mental illness. How to maintain a good mental health? Having support from family, friends, and community. That's the first place. That's the first place. Because when you have that support, in fact, I tell people, some people have given up on these rehabs and treatment for mental health. Why? Because their clients or their relatives who have been here, they go even to rehab, spend a lot of money on them. 3 months down the road, when the person comes back, he relapses. And the relapse, especially of alcohol, is worse. When they relapse, they even take more than they used to when before they went to the rehab. Normally what happens is, if there is no support system, especially from the family, friends, and community, somebody feels, I'm alone, why should I still be here? Having a strong sense of identity and culture. Have a sense of identity. Have a sense of belonging, have a sense of culture. If you are a Munyankole, how do Munyankole behave? At least our president keep telling us how the Munyankole sometimes operate, but once a while, I need to come and have some history of how you do it. But everyone, you understand your culture, right? You understand this is how we do it. This is how we do things. This is because every culture, every tribe, every clan has what we call abominations. Not so? And abomination is something that community does not believe in. It's an abomination. Not so? Abomination, we don't. For example, it is an abomination to have sex with your parent. Yes? But how many people after their mental condition, they end up raping their parents? Or their parents even raping them? It's there. Mental health conditions. It is an abomination, we know. It is an abomination for a man to marry a man. Most of our cultures, not so. But it has become something people are advocating for. But what am I saying? Everybody has what we call norms and cultural beliefs. So have a strong sense of your identity. Because in most cases, when you lose your identity of who you are, and then you begin to think weird things. Looking after your physical health by eating a healthy diet and exercising. When is the last time you did some exercise? If we were to do push-ups, how many can you try? Can we try now at least 10 push-ups? Some may only follow after the first one. But if you cannot do push-ups, you can walk. You can jog. Do something that can at least improve your health. Eat healthy, eat well. But in most cases, many of us are actually on hunger strike. Because the man has stopped picking your calls, and he promised you things, and then you also gave him some things out of love, but now he's not picking your calls. You're on hunger strike. Reduce stress. Being optimistic, developing ways of coping with life's problems, and getting support. All these ways will help you to maintain healthy mental health. Treatment for mental illness is where I also want to talk about, because we want to unmask mental health. When it comes to treatment, mental illness is treatable, and most people with mental illness recover to live productive and happy lives. I'm one of them. I think I'm productive this morning to you. But if you saw me some 10, 15 years ago, oh, God of mercy. The treatment is different from each type of mental illness. So don't assume. Don't say, I saw was going through this, I'm also going through the same, so I think that he was taking this and person. No. The treatment is different for different people. Why? We have different border issues. Because when it comes to treatment, there are so many considerations that are made. What is your condition, first of all? Apart from this condition, what other conditions do you have? So that the doctor assesses you very well and then puts you on medicine that can rightly fit. Okay? So, it depends on how severe it is. There are people where it is very severe and then they need a lot of... Where are you? I wonder where you get that all energy, you jump off the bed. Which side are you? Where? I'm coming now. Why? News. So when you hear the good news, what happens? The stress goes, the sadness moves. So it depends. But the many treatment types are here. Number one, we have the psychological therapy, cognitive behavior therapy. Because some people whose behavior and emotions are bad, so we help them to get back to that line. Others, emotion, we help them to come back. Psychodynamic therapy, interpersonal therapy, group, couple, and family therapy, all these are to help people to deal with their issues. Number two, medicine. Medicine is prescribed for people, especially antidepressants for people who are dealing with depression, which can be used for anxiety. So different conditions take different medications. And it also depends on how severe it is or how mild it is. Then we have the lifestyle changes. Exercise is one of them. Avoiding drugs, alcohol and so on, eating healthy, good nutrition, being with the people, all those are lifestyle changes. We have the complementary therapies, relaxation strategies, meditation, and then we have if severe, a person is at the risk of suicide, then treatment may involve hospital assessment and even admission can take place. That's why some people, when they are that bad, we take them to the hospital and from there they will say, don't go back, we admit. And then they put them there. So that is how it happens for treatment. That's why Moses recovered. Yes? All the 7 people I mentioned in the Bible, all of them recovered. Anybody knows him? Engineer Begobisa? He has a book called In Search of Sanity. Look at that book. He is an OB of Butabika. Twice. And right now, he is a serious man who has recovered. He's an engineer working with UNA. He resigned UNA. He began his own company. UNA contracts him to still do work for UNA. People recover. I know of so many who were walking naked and have recovered and they're still citizens now. And doing a lot of work. So recovery is impossible. Don't give up on your people just because you think they have many problems. Recovery is impossible. Many people have recovered from mental illness after treatment. So you receive treatment, you get recovered. That's how it works. What are some of the barriers to recovery? Stigma and discrimination. Who has the mic? Okay.
Read or educate. Depression, suicide, and mental health in general are taboo topics for discussion. And this mentality has fueled stigma and discrimination in all its forms, in homes, schools, churches, or places of work. Psychosis, on the other hand, has been considered as a sin and demonic. Such ignorance meted against people with psychosocial disorders leaves the survivors and families hurt and broken with nothing to hold on to. Mental health stigma is a negative attitude or idea about a mental health future of a person or group of people, it relates to social disapproval of the person or group based on the mental health future. Mental health stigma includes social stigma or public stigma, when society or the general public share negative thoughts or beliefs about a person or group of people with a mental health condition. Structural stigma or institutional stigma, systemic stigma of mental illness at a higher level of government or organization that impacts policies or decision making. Self-perceived stigma or self-stigma, when a person with a mental health condition had negative thoughts or beliefs about themselves based on that mental illness. Then health practitioner stigma, when the care of a person is negatively impacted by stereotypes, thoughts, or associations of the provider about mental illness. Associative stigma or catastic stigma, a stigma that impacts people connected with someone with a mental health condition, such as a friend or family member. My story has not been different. It is sad that you cannot discuss your pains at your place of work, with your friends, and at church. When your personal prayer item with regard to depression that has resulted into hypersexuality, suicidal ideas, and depression becomes gospel news, where should one turn to? It is really sad that one cannot even open up about their HIV status to a church member, a workmate, or family member for fear of victimization. Continue. Many relationships and marriages are in the intensive care unit because some people choose to suffer in silence as they have been conditioned to the norms in the society. The consequences of stigma can be serious and devastating. With stigma comes a lack of understanding from others, which can be invalidating and painful. But stigma also carries more serious consequences, including fueling fear, anger, and intolerance directed at other people. Having lived through this as a person, I am aware that the consequences of stigma can be serious and devastating. With stigma due to mental ill health and associated attitudes comes reluctance to seek out help and treatment, which increases morbidity and mortality, social rejection, avoidance, isolation, worse psychological well-being, poor understanding among friends and family, harassment, violence, bullying, poor quality of life, disability, and increased socio-economic burden, increased feelings of shame and self-doubt. I grew up being repeatedly told and reminded to be a man, endure the pains of life as a man. I was discouraged from sharing my pains in life. When I would fail to sleep in the night and tell others how I struggled to sleep, the response was that I was becoming a man. I was told that men do not sleep at night, at times, so that they can worry about life. Also, the society sees those with depression with a negative attitude and even gives them names.
You can stop there.
Okay.
There are people who are here, you know you are going through a crisis, which can actually negatively impact your mental health. But you have failed to seek for help because of fear of victimization, because of fear of judgment, because of fear of what people will say about you. But today I want to tell you, please seek for help in spite of what people are saying about you. Break your own cage. Get out of that prison cell by yourself. Absence of support lessons. If there are no support lessons, especially your family is not involved in your recovery journey, you can take long to recover. But if your family is supportive, you have a supportive family, recovery is instant and it is quick. You can recover quickly from mental illness. But if there is absence of that supportive relations, it takes longer. Or even sometimes people have not even been able to recover because there is neglect, there is rejection, they are seen as social outcasts. Mistreatment and neglect. I've talked about this. Instead of supporting you if there is mistreatment and you are neglected, recovery becomes hard. Lack of hope and encouragement. That's why most people with mental illness, I'm sure if you have a relative or a friend who has been through this, they can ask you, do you think I will still make it? Why? They are hopeless. They don't see any hope. They keep asking you, do you think I will make it? Do you think I will recover? Do you think there is still hope for me? Because as long as there is no hope and encouragement, they take long to recover as well. And then lack of mental health services. In fact, if there are no mental health services around here, and then recovery also becomes very hard. Because I know like here, the distance between here to Marara, maybe some good distance, right? Now, if within here we don't have a mental health service provider around here, it becomes hard. But in our last month, we had a mental health conference where I also presented the paper. And we were saying, let government, through Ministry of Health, invest in mental health services and bring these services nearer to the local people. I know right now it is only in the regional hospitals. Yes? But we are trying to see how can we have it even in our communities. And even when other ones are not there, that's why I am here as a person, bringing the mental health service, among which is awareness. Remember, please, this is narrated so that it is a warning. It is a very tough one. Remember, please do not self-medicate yourself. Don't self-medicate. I know because of stigma, like I was saying, there are people who now read on depression or stress or whatever concern that you're going through. You go to Google how to go to Google how to get treatment for this. You do it for yourself. You then go to the pharmacy on your own. No, you don't do that. Seek, first of all, go to the hospital or go to the service provider, do assessment, let them assess and know exactly what kind of treatment you might need. Don't self-medicate. If you have been doing this, please, in the name of God, stop it. I beg, as your big brother. Number 2, I want to stand here and say herbal medicine do not treat mental health illness. It treats ulcers, it treats almost everything. Herbal medicine does not treat mental illness. Please, I beg. That's why the Bible says, my people perish for lack of what? Knowledge. Support groups. That's why in our Arua, every Saturday of the month, every month, we do what we call mental health support group meetings. Where people come and we just encourage each other, we share our experiences, we offer hope to one another, and we share, and we talk, and we eat together, and we go home. And because of that, recovery has been faster. People can't wait. Even this month, we can't wait to meet again. Then people come up with their plans. So what is your recovery plan? What plans do you have? What are you doing? So that there's accountability. And people are getting better and better and better. Treatment and recovery is possible. You will be able to shift from the left and go to the right. That's why, because everyone wants the person who is on the right? Even when you're getting married, if you are single here, you want to marry the right person. Nobody wants who is on the right and who is on the left. Help is available. Now, I want to talk about the community-based mental health approach, because it is where I really want to engage, and I've been engaging a lot in the community, and this is a community already. We are a community of Sacco, right? We are a family and this is where support is needed. Community-based mental health and support. Why community-based? Because it is where we are. We work as a family, we work as a team. If you are in Sacco, you must know that you're not alone. You have a family. Yes? That's why I am very convinced, if anything happens to you, whether good or bad, members of Sacco will always show up. Yes? And if you are single and you are planning to marry, I'm sure Sacco will do something. as a Sacco, and then even individuals, I'm sure they will also show up. No, sir? That's why I want to do this. One thing is we need to appreciate is that every one of us, people are overwhelmed by grief and sadness. Many people are trapped by thoughts of the past experiences and present stressors, or are affected by severe mental health problems, and this will need support. And let me tell you this, when you are in that condition yourself, you live in denial. And it is your friends who can actually understand you, they will be able to see this, and they will be able to come for your rescue and come and give you care. That's why we talk about community-based mental health. We have actors in the community who can actually make sure that everybody's mental health is actually good. Now, as a family of Sacco, we should be able to be our brother's keepers. If you notice that your colleague at work always comes when he has not bathed. You know, when you're not bathed, it is obvious, it appears. Yes, somebody who has not showered comes in the morning to work on a Monday morning. You know that this one did not shower. And even sometimes you can even see the way their eyes are red. That means they didn't have enough sleep. Maybe they had a quarrel throughout the night, and therefore they didn't sleep. There was no peace at home. And therefore they come when their eyes are really red. So you can be able to say that I said, Do you know why most staff, not of Sacco, in other organizations, we've watched movies where the boss falls in love with the secretary? Yes. Because the secretary is quick to notice that the boss is not okay. And then he cares. He offers some support. And what happens? The boss gets over his problem at home very faster, does work, and then decides to take her out for lunch. And then the next will be history. And the reverse is true, yes. So, now this is where I want to come. Now, when it comes to our family, when you see your friend has a challenge, you address it not because you want to take advantage of them. Yes? But then you're able to see, okay, this one needs help, how can we best get the help, where can we refer? And we have so many community actors in this. And why I'm rushing through this is, I want to bring you why community-based approach works. Now, all of us, if you can, my slide is a bit, but let me use this. Now, all of us, we have social considerations in the provision of basic services and security, right? Every one of us, we have needs, basic needs, all of us. And if that basic need is not met, you have a challenge. For example, right now, this week has been the week for school fees. There's a crisis. Everybody needs that. In your family, there are basic needs that you need. And if you're not there, challenge. Security. When I talk about security, I'm not talking about army. Every one of us will need security. Some of you are working, but you're not sure. Why? There's no job security. Do I have the job security? Some of you are married, but you are still, I'm not sure. There's no security in my marriage yet. I'm not sure. Maybe he may change his mind.
It is possible.
Maybe she might change her mind. And you know the problem is for us men, when we say I love you once, by any chance, sometimes that word might not come again in a long while. And then you may want to hear that word again and you don't hear it, then you're not sure. Security begins to, you become insecure. And then the man leaves out, goes to work, you know he has gone to work, but you're not sure whether he has really gone to work. Security. You're always on tension. And what happens? Every one of us will need this basic need, and because it is a basic need, and you can see it is at the core, down here. It's at the core. There's a challenge. So you can see that when we are in a community, this can be done by us, so that we're able to check our daily living conditions. That's number one. Number two, we look at strengthening community and family support. We are a family here, no sir? Even after being a family here of Ebo Sacco, each one of us, we have a family where we come from. So we need to strengthen that community. We need to strengthen. And this is strengthening work is still here. It is our work. Okay? This is our work. Let me do something here. Most people maintain their mental health and psychosocial well-being through community and family support, right? But what happens? People in distress often turn to their family members and friends or neighbors for help and support, right? That's always what we do. When you are broke, you call your friends, you call your family members to sort you out. Yes? But what is the problem? In many settings, maybe even some of us are involved here now, there are significant disruptions of community and family networks. Yes? So what happens? Family members are separated. Neighbors do not know one another because everyone has a high wall. You have a wall fence, so you don't know what's happening on the other side. We are able to support each other. Okay? So it now comes to us here, strengthening ourselves. It is us. It is therefore of paramount importance that as a staff we are to support ourselves and to foster social cohesion. Cultural and contextual specificities have to be taken into account, which require a thorough understanding of communities, including leadership structures and relationship dynamics between the various groups and individuals. That's why here we have leadership here. We have people in management here today. We have people at different levels of management. We have staff at different levels. All when normally we come for Bokwinjira, what happens? Do they give you over? So they give you over from that family to the other family. Now if the other family misbehaves and then they mistreats you, what do you do? Yes, here you were given away. Sometimes. Now, this is where the crisis is. I can stand here and able say, even as we are here, we have some brothers, relatives, parents, step-parents, we don't see eye to eye with. So that's why it is important for us to strengthen family setting now. Now that we are here, we need to work on this. We need to have this. That's why we are having this training, to have a focused psychosocial support. That's why we're going to learn on stress management and we're going to deal with the stress. That is a part of psychosocial. Yes? Now you can start in community mental health. Clinical part is the last part, which is very small. Very small part there, which needs clinical services. That's where you need the medical team to handle. But if you can see, from the base up to here, it is our work without medication. It is our work without treatment. It is our work without the medical practitioners. The whole of this, it is our role. That's why we want to understand if they are stressing, how do we support one another? How do we help one another? And that is all that we can do when it comes to mental health. That's the end of this. Can I have questions? Unmasking mental health. Now that we have unmasked, can you ask me questions?
Called Robert. Thank you for the presentation. I have two questions.
Yes,
one is I want you to relate church. Because church has always been talking about mental health and that kind of counseling. Relate the role of church and how it is helping in mental health and all that. The other one is how can I detect that it is time for now clinical services? It may be even beyond the level of clinical services, then I'm not aware.
Okay, good.
So what is it that I have? What are those signs and symptoms?
Church has a community. Okay? And church is actually supposed to be the hope of the world when it comes to all these issues. But because of ignorance, especially of some of the church or religious leaders. Church has actually become the place of more stigma. I've had to engage people who tell me that their church leaders have told them not to go for medication, that they are just going to be prayed for and they will do well, which is wrong. It is wrong. Why? By the way, if you have ever read this book of mine, Hope of Depression, number one remedy here, the first one is treatment. Medical treatment. Treatment is done by medical people, by doctors. You can use the church as an addition. Yes? Because the church services, the sermons and all that, they help to build hope to the hopeless, right? We talked about having hope. Yes? So the role of church is to build hope. And by doing that, they add on to maintaining good mental health. However, I say it again, if the church leader is not aware, if he's ignorant, that's why we're seeing more problems. So that's why I have begun doing what we call mental health in the church. Helping to train training religious leaders. Let me just, because church is one place which has become very ignorant about the realities of mental health. That's why I try to engage the religious leaders and tell them mental health is real. We need to deal with mental health and to understand those issues. Some of you could have seen me on the UBC chilling with the Dragon before. That's why we do all these other in the schools, in the churches, in the prisons, wherever. Why? We want to address, and you could be a Muslim and say that man is biased. I'm not. If you see this group is a group of women of Muslim community. Yes? Okay? So we are trying to create more awareness so that people understand that mental health is real. Mental health in the church is what we need. Because a lot of stigma is actually in church. Now, how can somebody... And then also too, when somebody comes for prayer request, other in regard to the mental health, let's pray for so and so. The devil is a liar. Please, church, let's pray for sisters, let's pray for brothers. Someone has come with it. It's not an issue of... But now, when you bring an announcement at the pulpit that have become a prayer request, do you think I will come back? Why? There are no clients there. In the shrine, people go there in isolation and in secrecy. So I will not find a congregation there to talk to. That's why I don't go to the shrine. But the church, mosque, and whatever church I go to, whether Anglican, Catholic, wherever I go to. Why? Because mental health doesn't know religion. Coming to the second question, how do you know? You very well know that sleep has become an issue for you. Or your friend is complaining that they're not sleeping well, they're not sleeping at all. That is actually something that you need to engage so that they need to go to see. If you see somebody is ever drunk, somebody is always on the drugs and is ever drunk. He has drug addiction, alcohol addiction, he is always addicted. They need help. And how do you know that somebody is on the drugs? Even here, even if I just look at you here today, I can know that you actually drink or you don't drink, I can tell. There are things you can't hide. In Proverbs 23:29.
29.
Yes. Ruchika. Take it up there.
Yes, it says, Enaku zirwoha, obsasi bujirwoha, empaka zijirwoha, okwetombuita kujirwoha, obutabwabusha bujirwoha, okutukula amisho kujirwoha. Then 30 it says, Tujirwa abarari kera abaza kufumba enturire otareba vinyo ngo nho ikutukura yaba nebera mu kikopo nesheneneka aha mumero bwanyuma erumanka enjoka etemanka empiri amisho gareba ensi negenda omutima gwawe gugamba ebitakwatirine oshusha nko byami ahagati y'enyanja nari nko byami ahaiguru y'omurongoti okagira otubantire konkati nsase banyasire konkati nyine kimpurire sikuke byari nkaza kuvumba gandi.
We're enjoying ourselves. Don't say the black man came from Arua to abuse us. It is obvious. Who has red eyes? Who has... there are things that you can't hide. It is obvious. Okay? And if you see all those, what that man read, you see strange things, you speak different things, that's psychosis actually at work. And that's one of the signs that something is happening. Number two, if you see a colleague at work, the man is coming and they are taking some days without brushing their teeth, and you're waiting. See a medical doctor. If you are in a place where, like I said, you are sick, you feel you are not well, your body is paining, and then you go to the hospital and they check, they run tests, and they don't see any condition in your body, but you know you are not well. And then they change that doctor, you go to see the psychiatric one. Are we still together? I hope you are answered, bro. Because some of these issues, they also, when you see a man talking to himself, he's meeting alone, please, they need help. Drug addicts, they have become daily drinking officers, and even now, if you see a man, you see a brother, you see a working mate, every day he is singing the song of Gaziel Salo Zange, Ai Mukama, Gaziel Salo Zange, Bere Okukisa, Eno Wange, Neno Wange, Neno Wange, Bona Wange. If you see a man who does not want to miss a skirt, one for lunch, one different one for supper, one for breakfast, this person needs help. That's what you see, I talked about if your depression or your mental illness results into hypersexuality. There are people who become extremely active via sex. Well, I know sex is also a stress reliever, but when somebody has become addicted to it, it is because of a crisis. Do you know that sex is also an addiction? So there are things that become obvious. You know how lifestyle, how behavior is. So those are some of the ways you can see them. All right. Yes, another. Yes, another question on that side.
I am Godwin.
Yes, Godwin.
I have Godwin.
Godwin. Oh, sorry, Godwin. Yes.
I have two questions.
Yes, please.
You said we need to understand our cultures and which is true. But I would like you to now relate two things: culture and change. Because for us, when we were grown those days, for example, if a neighbor had a party, the women at the village would start preparing for that party, like a month earlier. Just going through cleaning the mirror, even grinding it. But these days, someone does it slightly in a different way, and through that kind of thing, people would learn and other people would share here and there. And as you said, what is happening this time around for us when we were growing up, we didn't have perimeter walls in families. We find the family, children go right to the other family, the other and the other. But of late, the perimeter walls are coming up.
Tall ones, high ones.
Yes, even with the other metallic things on top and whatever. And that is changing something in the generation that we tend to live. So I would like you to relate both and then see how can we be mental okay with that kind of setup. Then two is about the miraculous, the perfectionists. I understand if someone is a perfectionist, for example, when he or she is staying alone, that person is okay because he knows where he puts his thing or her thing. That's where he's going to find it later on in the evening. But here comes a time when that party gets another one and brings a different party altogether. So how can a perfectionist actually be brought on board to have that sense of balance in life, that at times things are not what you expect, in order for you not to go the extreme end? Thank you.
Thank you. The thing that we need to understand is, like I was saying, family patterns are changing, which is actually worrying everyone. Okay? All of us will be worried that we need to break that barrier to have a family as one. Whatever happens, we need to deal with it. We need to understand what is causing all of these problems. Let's address it at that level. Many people are disappointed, and that's why they have given up on family. But that doesn't mean that you should be living alone. That's why even God said it's not good for man to be alone. So if you are a man and you are grown and you are of age and you are still living alone, may God deliver you. That's why Solomon said, two are better than one. If one falls, who will pick the other? But then I also want to bring out here that the challenge is people who have been hurt before, they don't want to let go. I've just shared with you that I went through 8 heartbreaks, but now I'm a married man. 8. And those 8 are without those who find me before I proposed. And those who told me that they will give me answer, and up to tomorrow they didn't give me answer. You know, but still that doesn't mean that you just choose to remain alone. No, you need somebody to help you out. You need a community, you need somebody, you need a social support. You need a family support. Now, coming to how do you balance the boat? Friends, we have 4 personality types. The outgoing people. The outgoing personality. The ones, the non-outgoing. Yeah? These ones are not non-outgoing. You tell them we go, they don't want to go. The outgoing ones are also broken down into 2. We have what we call the choleric. We have the sanguine. And here we have the phlegmatic. And we have the melancholic. Now, what happens is each one of these have their strength. They are bold people. They are task-oriented. So that they are result-oriented, right? They want to work and they want the results. Even here, they want the results. Okay? This group here, all they want is recognition. Recognition, yeah. They want you to recognize them. Then they feel big, they feel important. The phlegmatic, all they want is peace. One thing I want to say, in as much as the choleric and the phlegmatic all want the results, this one wants the result which is perfect. Yes. On menu, based on principles, the collector doesn't care how you are, all they want is the result. Let me give you an example. A colleague can know that you are sick, but can still give you a call. Hey, how are you feeling now? So how far with the results? How far with your target? But knows that you are sick, but still expects the results. So for them, they're not interested in how you feel, they're interested in the result they're supposed to give. Sanguine is outgoing, very popular, they just want recognition. Let's put our hands, let's welcome so and so. We clap for him. Oh, now this guy has worked a lot, yeah, let's recognize him. That's how they feel good. And these are people, when you put them, please, I beg, this might also help management now. Don't put these people to do paperwork. Deploy these people where there is no paperwork. Deploy these people where there is a market. Deploy them where there is market. Deploy these ones at the front desk. Deploy these ones with the paperwork. Deploy these ones to do more. Management by walking around. This one is a good manager. This is a good boss. And this one, because what's the results, this one is task-oriented, plans, and is bold, is committed, can follow through. This one cannot follow through anything. In fact, this is the one you will call how far. I forgot. Okay, let me do it now. I'm sure we are letting now. These ones keep forgetting. Why are they forgetting? Because they go for the next exciting thing. If something is not exciting to them, they don't do it. They will look for what can excite them and what can make them feel good. All the time. And if you put them in the market to do marketing and all that, no stress. Tell them to bring you a report. Verbal report, they will give you verbal report. Tell them to give you a written report. It is work. Now, these are people who, if you have a function, put them as an MC, put them as a... Okay, there will be no boredom. Okay? So nowhere to deploy. If you want ushers, here. Ushers, they make people hospitable. That's why if you want people with reception, here. Because they are peace-loving, they want peace, everything must happen but peacefully. Peace. And these are people who don't ask for their opinion because they don't have an opinion. They will go with what you have said so. They don't want to contradict and they don't want to marry you. If you just tell them now that you have refused me, I'm going to commit suicide, they will change their mind. And they marry you because they don't want a problem. This one will stand on their ground. Colleague will stand on their ground and we said this, it must happen that way. This is what we said. I'm sure this is where you operate from within. And they work with the records. They don't miss any record. They work with the figures. They don't miss it. Now, this one, when they're doing their work, they don't want noise. They don't want noise. But these ones work well when there is some music. So when you understand these personalities, it will avoid a lot of stress at your workplace. And then when you know your boss is like this, then you know how to adjust. Yes? you know how to manage. And then equally, now when it comes to now the issue of the marriage, we talked about marriage, right? The other person is the other one, then how can they appear? If this person does not marry this person, she will always be in depression. Why? This one has no plans, this one plans. I told you today is the 4th of June. They are already planning Christmas. This one goes with what's available. Doesn't want to hurt you, doesn't want to do anything. Doesn't plan, doesn't think. And if you have anything to do with the TV, this one watches more TV than another one. Listening to music, mostly here. Peace. And the music they listen to is a peaceful music. And the movies they watch, they don't watch action. Where there's a shooting. They watch love stories. So now this person, for this person to manage their depression, they need to marry somebody who will make them happy. Who will crack jokes. This one has no jokes, by the way. This one wants results, so no joke, no time for joke. In fact, if you want a serious apology, this one quickly says sorry. This one always apologizes for anything small. They will say sorry. This one doesn't apologize. And doesn't see why they should say sorry. To answer. But when you understand your personalities, friends, I assure you will enjoy your work. Maybe some of you are clashing at work because you have failed to understand how someone operates. Now, if you are the boss and then you want to report from this written paper, report, you're not reporting, and you're talking, why? Because his weakness is there. And then if this person has a friend, has a partner, has someone who is actually good in records, in reports here, you see how this one works? That's why God is wise. God said it's not good for man to be alone. The problem even in marriage is you married the wrong person. You didn't marry your helper, you married a competitor. So all of you are competing.
I just encourage people to write many questions.
Please write as many questions as you can.
So that when they come, we begin from there.
Can we get a volunteer to bless our breakfast?
Father, King of Glory, we want to thank you for today. We thank you for the facilitation. As we are going for our breakfast, come and bless it. Bless the people that have prepared it. And that when we take it, it shall be of great importance to our health and a good diet, like the facilitator said. And all this shall be back for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray and believe.
Sunshine.